welcome to yet another episode of More Than Rust. Today we're going to work on something completely different. Well, that was the plan, as I'm sure a lot of people watching this are well aware. Projects and plans don't necessarily align in the same direction. So unfortunately, we're back over there. So yep, once again we're back onto the Rover. So, in the last episode, I told you I was going to drive it home. And I did. I got in this thing, fired it up and drove it home. And it got there. So, not an issue at all. Got over one point, but I thought, well, you know, it's still a bit water out the radiator, I've got overclock at the moment. So it was workable. It sat at home for probably too long. And I went, you know what, let's try it back. So I drove back up here. I had to collect some bumpers on the way, not for this car, for another project. And it was after that point that I decided to tell me how unhappy it was about some of the modifications. Unfortunately, it's now started making a really horrible, grindy, crunchy noise while going forwards under load. Anyway. So, I won't look into that. I'm hoping it's going to be a simple job of something that's come loose and it's just clipping the drive shaft. See, there's no weird noises when decelerating, there's no weird noises while just cruising along. It's only when you're under load, which obviously one of these means that the rear axle does weird stuff with this Rovers. And let's go down and look at that. This also gives you a good opportunity for me to see the car on the hoist and let you see what's underneath the Rover 3.5, if you haven't already seen it. No spoilers in you 3.5 Rover people. I know what you like. Rise. Gotta love hoists. Much better than lying on my back on the floor. So uncomfortable, dirty, grimy. Workable. Anyway, outdoors. So, for all you people unfamiliar with Rover 3.5s, this up here is obviously the engine with the exhausts. Behind that, bell housing. Yes, it's off of an automatic and modified to fit. Surprise, surprise. Obviously, the big black lump in the middle here is a adapter plate to then go to my Borg Warner T5 gearbox behind it. Obviously behind that, we've got a drive shaft, and right at the back here somewhere is what I can only describe as madness of every single suspension arm Rover could think of. Where my issue I think lies, after putting this in the air and having a quick look at it, is one bracket. Oh, this is my head. As you can see, we're at the back of the car. This here is the drive shaft. The gearbox is over that direction. Right here is the coupling bolt to the diff. I say coupling bolt to the diff because the diff is actually all the way back there because they're on a torque tube thing. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. So up here, you see you've got a drive shaft, you have the exhaust, and you have this sodding bracket thing. It's actually to protect a brake line that sits behind it, and originally the fuel line also ran behind this and it protects it all. I've actually just boinked this back into place with a pry bar because I found it up and on top of this drive shaft, which may explain why when you accelerate in this thing, this bolt on the diff, you can't see, yep, which may explain why I was making noises. So this bolt here holds the front of the diff down, and what was probably happening was when you accelerated in this thing, due to, let's say, some slightly stronger forces, the drive shaft along with the diff would all flex upwards, causing this flange to contact this bracket and make a horrible noise. I'm going to test this theory by now I put it back into where it's meant to be, not 18 foot above the diff. I'm going to bolt it back in, put it back on its wheels and drive it. However, before I do that, this is a wonderful shot, I'm going to go to the front of the car and fix another one of the glaring issues I found. Also, yes, my eyebrows are very expressive. Anyway, back to what I was doing. So, first step to fixing this problem, slide that across, attach a bolt to it. I'll stop that hitting anything on dry shaft related stuff and hopefully shut that noise up. That or just sorts that one problem out anyway. Both are valid excuses. Okay, as you can see, this bracket, which is all this bracket here, has now been screwed back with the screw. It's actually got an M5 thread behind it, and that screw's now wedged into it. You don't know how long that took me to do, but it's there. Right, onto the clutch. However, to start doing the clutch, first as the safe cylinder is under the car, I had to block off the pipe leading to it, else I'm going to make one hell of a mess when I do it. So, first step, lower the car. Again. This car's been up and down all the time, so jack in the box. Right, so once again we're under the bonnet. You can tell because I'm always whacking my head on it. The Rovers share a bottle for both the brakes and the clutch. So this line here is for my brakes, and this wonderful line above it is for the clutch. So what I do is block this off with a pair of, well, we'll be using it as a pair of hose clamp fire thingies. That was like the job. That should stop any fluid getting through the master, down the line, into the slave. Should is the key word here. I was still to bleed out for with this, but hopefully this will start pissing out our system. But we'll see. Surprise! So, I finally found my little red clampy thing. They were in the drawer. I put them when I tied it up. Slash, well, Catherine tied up. Thanks, Catherine. So, now the clampy thing's on. This should stop any fluid from actually getting through the master. So, next step, car back up again. This is why hoists are a really good investment on things like this. So, like I said, this here is the slave cylinder on the system. It's an old mini unit, and more plain than anything else right now. However, they're quite simple. Undo the line to it, which is lovely red colour. Good as Rover. The cylinder itself should come off. I then should be able to undo these two bolts and put it off. The block wood works as a spacer, and then push on this arm that's also been adjusted. Because nothing on this car is standard, of course, because that'd be too easy. And once it's off, I believe I've got a spare one off a 2000 sitting on the floor, so I'll try that out and we'll go from there. See you in a minute. Probably on the bench. This here is a cylinder off the Rover. You can tell it's passing fluid because it's very wet inside. This here, unfortunately, is my spare cylinder off of the 2000 model Rover. I may have another one of these spare somewhere, but I have no idea where it is. This one I know physically moves. It's quite clean on the boards and everything else, so I may start by putting this one apart and seeing if I can clean up a bit of dirt or something that's stuck behind it. If not, I might have to try this one and see what moves, if it moves. So, car's back together again. I've had to reuse the original slave cylinder that I pulled off the car, because unfortunately the one I had as a spare doesn't move at all, so it's not really a good spare, it's more junk. Anyway, cleaned it all up, reassembled it all. Again, I don't have any spare parts here, so I've just had to put it back here as it was. Seeing as I'm quite out of it and seeing if it helped. It's kind of helped, however, yes, it is still passing fluid if you hold the clutch down for it's just weeping past the seals, it's going to make sure a couple of things. Firstly, this clutch cover is a lot heavier than what's usually in the Rover 3.5s or 2 litres. It's just heavier clutch, therefore the cylinder is not really like the pressures on last to push. The other issue is itself, it's got a bit of scoring on the before, and I just think it's just too much for it. And again, of course, it does weep past it a little bit. It's not terrible and it's drivable. My hope is I can get the pedal in this thing to be a little more modern feeling. Currently I need to be a little shock pusher to push my left foot down the clutch pedal. I much prefer it to be more sort of heavy-ish, but not that cool. So I need to look at options with that. Other than that, the really horrid noise that was in the back of this thing is now gone. So I'm definitely putting it down to that bracket just hitting the drive shaft, something similar, whilst rotating under load, and it's just causing it to make a noise. So it's all pinned back up the way now, so that should fix that problem permanently. Hopefully moving forward, this Rover won't be the main project on the channel. It seems to be one of the most popular projects I've had so far on this channel, which is quite strange because I wasn't expecting that at all. However, I think the next one to do will be the other Rover, but to do that, I need space. Which kind of segues quite nicely into a bit of an update for you people. The reason I haven't been uploading videos as quickly as I was before, since now it seems to be every 2 weeks rather than every week, purely comes down to two main reasons. One of which I've taken a new job, which means I'm away from the area pretty close to 5 days a week now. Which means I only have weekends to work on this stuff, and of which that my girlfriend currently probably wants to see me occasionally. So I have a day or weekend to work on the projects, which is what's going to apply to everyone. The other reason this stuff's staying so long is kind of something tidying the place up. I'm trying to get rid of some cars, as I mentioned in the last video, and clear the place out. And that takes time. I have a lot of rubbish around here, and it needs to go. So, if anyone wants bits, but yeah, Sleds, the GTO, Civics, Rovers, other Rovers, Altezas, things like that, I might have bits. Feel free to message me or comment in the comments. Committee. Okay, quick wrap up. So this is going to be it for this episode, purely because I've finished work on the Rover for now. If you like the video, obviously like the video. There's a little button there, push that, really quickly, like a thumbs up. Woo! If you didn't like the video, feel free to give it a thumbs down, but please leave a comment of the reason why you didn't like it. Probably the main one is I ramble on too much. And last but not least, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot to let me know what people are looking at, what they're interested in. And to be honest, most of the people watching these videos aren't subscribed. Am I really that annoying? I hope not. Anyway, that's it for me. I will see you all in the next one. Bye.